All right, Buccaneers.
All right, buckos.
Buckle up. Approach is clear.
Just a few buckaroos
Runway's
out
clear.
for a rip.
Sky Pirates.
Yeah, dude.
This is couple spiritual sky
Dude,
pirates.
can we listen to the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack?
Yeah, dude. Yo ho, pirate's eye for me.
Dun, 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 dun. Alright, we got red, red, red. Red, perfect. Alright, center lines obtained. Airspeed's alive.
Cherokee 7824 Whiskey, any chance we could get 3-4 left?
Good call, dude. We're pirates.
November 24 Whiskey, affirmative, at
You.
midfield, make a left turn back to the south.
Positive, ready to climb, gear up. Hey, Sophie, you got the gear up on your side?
Yeah. Just double check.
Yeah, you just can't see any gear below you on the right?
I don't think so.
Okay, you're good. Okay, flaps up.
Hi, Kia.
Oh my gosh, I have electric trim on this plane. Oh, it's so nice.
November 10 Hotel, right turn out approved.
Right turn out, 7610 Hotel.
Hey, yo.
What a day!
3, 2, 1. Why don't you give us an intro, Jen? What are we up to right now?
First of all, welcome to the world's best plane positivity podcast.
Also, the world's only in-plane positivity podcast.
Flying with Full Send Jen, trademark pending. Waiting for the Nub Boys to approve it.
Yeah, Nelk Boys. If anybody on the internet knows the Nelk Boys, holler. We need to know if they're going to let us be the full send Jen.
If not, we're totally cool to roll with half Send Jen.
Yeah, half send Jen's fine. It's just on the Nelk Boys, really. Like,
Yeah,
if we end up half send Jen, it's just their fault.
it's hilarious. Anyways, we have our son of honor, Sophee Hillyard. Soulfly, my best friend, twin sister, full sender, skydiver, healer, wonderful, beautiful, positive ray of sunshine, and mom to Bodhi, Lotus.
Yes.
Is here with us, and we're stoked to have her, guys. She Reiki'd our plane, and we're here to talk about awesomeness in life.
Yeah.
Anything I missed?
Nope, I don't think so. You introduced me pretty good. That's me.
You're like, that's exactly how I would introduce myself.
Yeah, that's me.
Also, guys, I'm not flying because we're on autopilot. They're like, what the fuck? Alright, guys, let's get into it. So, I haven't seen Soph. How long, Soph? Like,
It's been
6
since
months?
November, so yeah, it's been 5 months.
Will you tell them about the last time we hung out with each other? Because it was a totally full send / full shit show endeavor.
Yeah, I mean, we got in the plane and we flew to Paris, California to go jump out of a hot air balloon, and we had no real plans of where we were going to stay or what was going to happen. So luckily, our friend Devin, thank you, Devin, rescued us, and yeah, we jumped out of a hot air balloon. It was incredible. And somehow we made it out alive and made it back.
It was so cool. It was epic. But yeah, it was just hilarious. It was like classic, adventurous, late, got lost, couple things didn't work out, and it was just still the most epic time ever.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, so anyways, dude, so tell me how, like, skydiving and flying and all that brings you back and how important that is in your life.
Well, I started skydiving when I was 18 years old, and I moved to Hawaii. And I was doing school online for my music business degree, actually. And I moved to the North Shore of Oahu, and I didn't know anyone. And the first people I met were skydivers, and they're like, we work at the drop zone. And so I went and got a job there. I had the option to either pack parachutes or work in the rigging loft building parachutes. So I chose to work in the rigging loft. And yeah, I started skydiving, and when I got pregnant with my son, I moved back to Reno to have support from my family, and after he was born was when I started flying planes.
Actually, fun fact, Soph and I lived in Hawaii at the same time.
But we weren't full send friends yet.
Actually, we met at the Davis drop zone, and we were skydiving, and I was like, is that another blonde female skydiver?
Yeah, Jenna was going through her AFF or A license. And it was my first time jumping in the mainland. It was before I got pregnant with Bo.
Also, Soph is a mom.
Yes.
The best mom ever.
Yes. My greatest teacher is my son. He's 4.5 years old, and he's amazing.
The cutest thing in the whole entire world. I love him. Yeah, so Sophie, you've been on like this super epic, awesome spiritual journey, and you went to Peru and you've done like your meditation classes, and I just want to know all about it and how it's changed your life, because I can just feel this like, I mean, you always have the best energy, but like I can definitely feel like
The shift.
you're so zen. Like I feel like I do when I go to church. I just like an overwhelming sense of this wonderful energy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I have always been into alternative methods of healing. Ever since I was young, I had some stuff going on when I was a teenager, and I was on medications and whatnot, and I got off everything and turned to Chinese herbal medicine, actually yoga and meditation. And so I've been interested in all these things for a long time. And earlier last year, I got really, really sick with Lyme's disease.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of when I took a break from flying and just took a look at my life and what I was doing and who I was. I realized I didn't even really know who I was at that point in time. And that's when I found my teacher, Kia. Shout out Kia for being like the most majestic, amazing human ever. And I started walking this path, and I wasn't really quite sure what it meant. I just knew I needed to walk it. And I continue to fly and skydive whenever I can, because I believe it's a form of medicine as well. And yeah, I started walking the path of healing, I guess you could say, just really taking the time to do that healing work. And I started making plans as to what I was going to do with my career with it. I knew that I wanted to support people in their healing. So I say that I do my healing work so I can support others on their healing path. And I feel that I can help ignite remembrance in other humans, and remembering who they really are. And yeah, so I walk a path called the Path of the Red Road. It's a shamanic path in Lakota traditions. It's the path from the mind to the heart. And yeah, I fully initiated into this path with my teacher. And it's interesting because I see so much how flying and skydiving feeds directly into this. And it gave me a solid foundation of respect for the elements and respect for life, that life is so gentle and it should be cherished in every moment. And it's beautiful that we get to do things like this.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's so beautiful. Oh, so well said.
Thank you.
Do you think that like both of these processes and like skydiving and flying, like why do you think they're so impactful? Why do you think they really put people in this mindset? Is it like the presence of being in the moment? Is it looking inward? I mean, like, what do you think is like the biggest takeaway that people can like help find things like these things if they don't want to huck their body out of plane?
Right. Well, for me, I feel like I was practicing meditation prior to learning how to skydive, and I don't feel like I fully understood what it meant to be completely present in that 0 point of time until I started skydiving. It's because when you're doing it, you're not thinking about anything else because you can't. You know, you cannot think about other things while you're skydiving. It's just you're fully immersed in the moment. And I believe that a lot of skydivers feel that way, that it's a meditative, mindful practice. And whatever it is, I mean, you could literally just be sitting on your couch and you can go into that 0 point and that complete presence of the moment. And it also brings in this whole new perspective, right? You're seeing things from a completely different perspective. And I do feel like, you know, when you come into this sport, you may lose friends and people that you love, you know, and it reminds you, wow, life is to be enjoyed and experienced, but we also bring this humility to it and this respect for it, that, you know, you do everything you can, you learn the foundational things so that you can be safe, you know, and it's an amazing time, it's a great time, but it can also turn really bad real quick, you know, so it's a humbling experience. It humbles you every time. And that's really important. It's important to humble ourselves daily, you know?
For sure. That's actually funny, Guy. Our last podcast guest, we were talking about that. Mm-hmm. Like why it's so important going on these adventures and being in nature, because it totally humbles you. And it reminds you how big nature is, how big God is, how
Mother Earth is our greatest teacher, yeah. We learn so much from Mother Earth and the elements, and life is our greatest teacher.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I've noticed that people who don't like necessarily even say they believe in God or spirituality always say, you know, I'm in my place when I'm and I'm sobering, I'm outside, and I just don't think that they quite yet know that that's why. Because nature is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is our greatest teacher.
Exactly. And it's just the vocabulary of it, right? We use words like God or spirit or the great mystery, whatever you want to call it. And really it's not a word. It's a feeling. It's all feeling. And when you're skydiving, you're feeling everything. You're feeling it. You don't really have tons of conscious thoughts. And that's why your training's so important, because you just react to things that happen. Mm-hmm. And I always say, feel it, don't think it. This kind of stuff brings you out of the overthinking, the anxious mind into, feeling it out. And of course, I feel like when you're flying a plane, you're more in your mind and you have more room to do that. But when you're skydiving, you're not.
Right.
And that's what nature brings us.
And that's so funny that you say that, because I told you guys this earlier, but like I've been flight instructing all week and I love it. It's the best job in the world. But I've been exhausted and I've been kind of sick. And today I woke up and I was not sick. I also chugged like a huge thing of like ginger and lemon and orange, and so I think that helped. Yep. But I was here and I had like this euphoric, like oversensing presence of like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do, and it's so freaking cool to feel that and like feel that power. And I don't think you really know your purpose or what you're doing until you quiet down and listen to it. And then but like it's so cool when you're like, holy shit, this is what I'm supposed to do. I can feel it. Exactly. And I know you know that too.
You have. I get like I've just had waves of spirit bumps as you were talking about it, because you have this resonance and you don't know until you step outside of your comfort zone. When I say like you cannot experience pure joy inside of your comfort zone. Happiness can be predicted, right? Like I'm going to be happy when I go fly with Jenna. But joy is experienced and it cannot be predicted. And that comes when you step outside of your comfort zone, and you step out of the airplane and you go. And some people spend their whole lives sitting in the airplane, right? Like, should I jump? No, I'm not going to do it. And they spend their whole lives doing that. But once you do it and you go, then you're in it. Yes. And that's when you experience joy. That's when you go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is exactly it right here. And job is joy of being.
I like that. Dude, that's actually, I'm so glad you said that. I want you to emphasize on how important it is to overcome fear. Oh my God, and there's this Will Smith quote that's like something about on the other side of fear is God. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just got goosebumps again.
Something like I don't know, I was listening to his audiobook. I know Will Smith is a sensitive subject now. Mm-hmm. But it's something like that. Can you fucking believe that?
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Anyways, his audiobook is still great. But yeah, tell me just about like fear and how it is really healthy to get over fear. I mean, I try to do something at least once a day that scares me. Even if it's like calling someone who scares me or taking a cold shower or whatever. How important is that in your life and you think other people's life?
Right now, more than ever, I really do want to emphasize this, so I am really glad you brought this up. Right now, in the shifts we're in the timeline we're in, and the things that are happening, it's so important to stay out of fear. Fear, guilt, and shame are the lowest vibrational feelings that we can have, and it's not about getting over it or ignoring it and shoving it away, and noticing it and going, oh, I'm just going to put a Band-Aid over this. It's still there, right? It's about moving through it. And I like to say that we're all onions. Like, we're all literal onions. And you get to just peel back the layers of your shadows in your existence. Or you can just stay at the same layer if you'd like, right? But the real magic happens when you peel it back and you go, okay, maybe I feel this way today about this thing. Go a layer deeper. And usually the root thing of a shadow is fear, guilt, or shame. Or non-acceptance of what is. And when you feel fear come up, when we say don't feel fear, it's low frequency, then you feel more fear. Like, oh no, I'm feeling fear and I'm scared because I shouldn't be doing it. No, it's like, why? Ask that part of yourself that's feeling fear. Why are you feeling fear? And thank it. Thank you for showing me where I still need to heal and where I still need to look deeper at myself. Thank you. And just ask it. Why are you here? What are you afraid of? And a lot of times it goes back to our childhood and our inner child. And of course, things are scary. Like, of course, jumping out of an airplane is scary, right? If you're not scared, that would concern me, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, if you're not scared,
psycho.
that's, And so the cool thing about fear is we can notice it, and also noticing the difference between fear and excitement, right? Like when you're going skydiving, there's a mixture of both, and using that to fuel you to be more safe and to care more about your life. You know what I mean? And moving through the fear and with the fear, and not just shoving it away. You know, same thing with guilt and shame. And on some people, we can be addicted to feeling those things. You know, we can be addicted to guilting ourselves, shaming ourselves, being afraid of everything, being afraid of life. For me right now, a shadow I'm working through is fear of what will happen if I really just open up to myself.
I think a lot of people.
And that power and that voice. And what will happen if I really start speaking my truth and being in my authentic self.
Yeah.
And this is something we move through our whole lives. It's not something you just fix and then it's done and the healing work is done and we're good to go. It's a lifelong path of this type of work, you know? So I think doing one thing a day that maybe brings up that fear and diving into it is beautiful. And it can be as simple as, taking a cold shower, or maybe you're afraid of talking to strangers, and just tell somebody that they look nice that day. And just start slowly stepping outside of your comfort zone, It doesn't have to be plummeting yourself out of an airplane.
Yeah.
It can simply just be, maybe wearing a color that you don't normally wear, whatever it might be.
Yeah, as small as that. And then going back to something you said earlier, I think another thing with fear too is acknowledging it, but just also having faith and like knowing that goodness will always persevere over it. Just like knowing that, like, even though it's scary, and like I have thoughts sometimes when I skydive, I'm like, what if my chute doesn't open? And I just always go to like, if that's gonna happen, then it's meant to be. But if not, I have so much faith that it's not going to.
Well, there's a fear of death, right? Which, if you go way, way, way back into ancient times, into deep traditional roots of like Native Americans, whatever you want to look at, there's this deep love and acceptance of death there. And in modern society, we're all afraid of dying, getting sick, getting hurt. And it's like, why? Like, dying is a beautiful experience, right? And I've actually had a near-death experience and was in a coma for 8 hours. And I can tell you that even after that, I was still afraid of dying. And I'm afraid of other people dying, right? Like, it's natural to have those fear things come up. But once you can move into that acceptance of just the ebb and flow of life in general, and that it's our natural process, and that we are truly infinite beings. We don't just die and it's over and done with, And I think that looking deeper at your fears of dying, why are you afraid to die? It's because it's the unknown. We have a fear of the unknown. Well, what if?
For sure.
Well, what if? And knowing that you're protected, whether you believe in God or spirit, whatever you want to use, knowing that you're protected, and that's where I come back to being responsible and doing everything you can to be safe, and then letting life take over the rest.
Yeah.
It's not a comfortable place to be in if we're always trying to control life, Letting life just do its thing while taking action where we can, right?
It's
surrender
so funny
to the
that you say
adventure.
that.
Surrendering is so important.
High altitude adventure.
Yeah, surrender and accept. And then when you can't surrender more.
So funny that you say that, because you know that inspirational video I sent you guys this morning? I literally typed in YouTube. I was like, inspirational video. And one of the things that this guy said is, everyone dies, right? It's the only thing that we are all guaranteed in life, which is harsh, I know, sorry. But like, very few people live, and it was like kind of cheesy, but I was like, dude, that is so true. Like, very few people, I think, unlock what you're talking about, see themselves truly, find their purpose, truly enjoy life. Like, if I give people like the smallest piece of advice, it's like, just fucking enjoy it, have fun.
Yeah, and then people go, well, how? And what I like to say is it's we get lost in our missions, right? Like, as humans, we, especially in the spiritual community, like, we receive this download of this crazy mission, and it's like, my mission here is to end world hunger, and I have to do all these things, and we get so lost in our missions. Even people who just have their day-to-day jobs, right? They get so lost in, like, I need to just go home and feed my kids and do this.
Right.
And we forget that all of our missions, because we do have specific missions. Yes, we do. But our number one mission is to have love and joy and ease in this human experience, and to figure out what it means to really be human. We're born and we forget everything. And then it's about spending our lives remembering
I'm looking for traffic. I am directly over the VOR.
Yes.
VOR
and we forget all the time. I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I forget. I'm an infinite being, and none of this, really matters, or maybe everything matters. And humble yourself by going, I don't really know anything at all. When we feel like we know things for certain, that's when we get ourselves into trouble.
Yes. And that's why I love this podcast, because I think the best thing we can do in life is learn from other people.
We're always learning. You can always learn.
Always, dude.
Look at Earth coming here like you're at Earth school, and your mission is to learn how to have fun and have joy. That's your mission.
You pass the test by enjoying it.
Yep. Every time you feel joy.
Yeah, dude. If you're seriously though. Like, really, though, if you look at life and be like, how did I do it? How did I do life good? I think it would be how you impacted others, how you loved, and how much joy you felt.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, you feel hardships and stuff, which bring more joy, but
it's all looking at everything, every person as a mirror, as a reflection of you, as a lesson, knowing that when you get triggered by things, that it's actually an invitation for you to look at yourself and look deeper. Why did that trigger me? And then we become less judgmental towards other humans, and we really just start going in and looking at our own selves.
Yes.
And, well, how do I feel joy? How do I not have anxiety? How do I not have depression? Start by breathing. Breath is the number one medicine. 5 deep breaths a day, even. Like, when you start breathing,
and it's free,
remember to breathe. Like, start breathing.
5 deep breaths a day. I love that.
Yeah, just 5 deep breaths a day. Remember,
that's perfect,
that's the life force. It's the first ingredient of life, right? Breathe. Remember, oh yeah, I remember. I don't really know anything. We get lost in knowing things. And this is right and this is wrong, and we all argue about it. Just, I don't know anything. All I know is I need to breathe.
4 miles.
Or, that's all we really know, is that we need to breathe and drink water, right? And eat food.
That's perfect. I was going to ask you next. You're so fucking spiritual. You can read my mind. I was going to ask you, like, what are the best life-changing routines that someone can incorporate into their life besides the 5 breaths,
well,
and water?
I mean, for me, it's like, start super
right
simple.
Below us.
When I started really walking this path, one of the first things my teacher taught me is just make your bed in the morning. Just make your bed in the morning.
Fuck yeah, that's what I do.
Because you go through the whole day and maybe you're like anxious and depressed and you can't shower and your whole day is going to crap. You at least know, well, I made my bed today. And that's what I did today, and I'm proud of myself for it. And then you have something to be proud of yourself for every day. And implementing small things like drinking lemon water in the morning, to wake up your liver. And taking 5 deep breaths a day, going outside and putting your feet barefoot in the dirt. Why do you think they put rubber soles on our feet and sunglasses on our face and sunscreen on our skin? Why are we hiding from the elements? Like, put your face in the dirt and ground yourself and feel what it means to actually be a living, breathing organism on this earth. We have biophotons. We need the sunlight. We need those rays to grow and expand. And it wakes you up in the morning. It wakes you up. Sun gazing. You can sun gaze for 45 minutes in the morning, right when the sun starts to come up, going outside and letting those healthy rays come into our eyes. It's really just about connecting back to nature, which helps you connect back to yourself.
Yeah.
And so I would say start simple, make your bed in the morning, and put your feet in the dirt and take 5 deep breaths. And if you're doing that, you're doing a great job.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. There's a whole book written on make your bed.
Make your bed.
Yeah, I do it every day.
Journaling is great.
Someone told me it once, and I was like, okay.
Yep.
And now I do it every day, and you feel good. I think it, clears up your mental headspace, too. I am a huge believer of being clean and just, small habits, because I think it clears up your mental space and your headspace.
If you clean your outer space, it helps you clean your inner space.
And I know you're so clean, too.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had to learn healthy balance of it, that it's all about balance. It's about balancing the masculine and the feminine within. It's about balancing our work life and our home life. Because we live in a time where we can't just, if it were up to me, I would just live outside in nature and not worry about anything. But we live in a society where we have to make money, right?
Yeah.
It's just about finding balance. And I'm not even going to sit here and say, you have to do meditation and you have to do this. No, just breathe. Just breathe and remember who you are. And if you can do those 2 things, you're doing exactly what you came here to do. And it's like, being on Earth is so cool, and we want to always, we're on a mission to go to Mars, right? We're on a mission to go to these other places. We forget how incredible everything is just right in front of us. It's all right here, everything we need. Mother gives us everything we need, and the best way to repay her You know, something we say a lot in the community is like, give it all to Mother, give all your, you know, your shit essentially back to Mother Earth. And people are like, well, I don't want to hurt Mother Earth with my bad energy. And it's like, no, just like a mother wants for their child, all Mother Earth or God wants for us is to have a good time and to be happy.
That's so true.
That's all, and that's how we feed. We feed each other with our joy and our happiness and our love. And, you know, remembering too, word alchemy. Watch your words. This is another daily practice. Start watching what you're saying. We always think, you know, watch your thoughts. What are you thinking about yourself? That, yeah, but spelling. We're casting spells with our words all the time. So watching the negative talk that you do about yourself, like, oh, I'm an idiot, you know, no. You know, start shifting your verbiage around, you know, and that is a game changer too. And you will see your life change if you do that, because that was one of the first things my teacher taught me. And within a couple months, I started noticing that my external reality was reflecting something different back at me when I started casting more positive spells with my words, you know?
Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah.
Our words are everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize that. And then one thing I really want to ask you too, Soph, is, and I know me and you have kind of had this happen too, where people see our Instagram and they're like, holy shit, like, do you guys, like, work? All I see is you skydiving and flying and doing this and all that. And we're like, I just don't think people realize how fake that is. And I want you to expose maybe the fakeness of that and how many hardships you've been through and all the hard stuff you've had to do yourself that some people don't see, and how important that is, because life isn't always rainbows and butterflies and you don't just like find your purpose one day. It's like hard work.
Right. And I think that I'll start here. I feel like a problem we get ourselves into, especially in our relationships with other humans, is comparing traumas. Like, who's had more trauma in their life?
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, we oftentimes find ourselves in this victim mentality of that life happens to us and poor me and look at all these bad things that have happened to me, right?
Yeah.
We have all, and then other people have their traumas and go, well, my trauma's not as bad as that person. So then they guilt themselves for even feeling sad at all, right? We get ourselves in this web of stickiness.
Yeah.
And it's like, bring yourself back to, we're all connected. Pain is pain. Suffering is suffering. Heartache is heartache, you know? And we've all felt that in one way or another, whether it be this trauma or that trauma. Remembering the interconnectedness of us all, we've all felt those emotions. And when you see somebody on Instagram and it looks like a certain way, right? We all get to play these characters. We get to wake up every day and go, what character do I want to play today? You know? And
so true.
Remembering that we get to put on whatever we want to put on. And knowing.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Our last battery died, but we got another battery.
Booyah!
We're back.
All right, so I got a question for you, Soph.
Yeah.
So I took a look at your gram, and I noticed that you've traveled around the world getting your yoga teacher certification and all those things. Like, what healing modalities and tools helped you the most along your journey?
I would say pranayama, breath work, is the most important tool. And there's so many different breathing techniques, and there's actually something called somatic breath work, which takes you into a full medicine-like experience, you know, and that can be very healing. And I would recommend for anyone to go take a breathwork class, and start there and just learn some basics of breathwork, you know, just the simple in through the nose for 5, out through the mouth for 5, and letting out deep sighs, sighing that deep earth energy and just releasing. It's a way to like recycle and transmute energy, right? So breathwork is huge. Pranayama. Another healing modality, crystals. Crystals are great. That's a form of vibrational therapy, and working with different crystals, wearing different crystals and stones, just starting to look into that. Crystals are literally a gift from God, Mother Nature. It's a gift, and they have their own frequency and own vibration, as well as sound healing, you know, sound vibration and different, sound frequencies is great. And asana, which is the posture part of yoga. I think a lot of people just see yoga as like, I'm going to go take a yoga class and do these postures, and they're like, I got to do it right, I got to push. That's not yoga. yoga is essentially, the foundation of yoga is breath and presence and meditation. And then you work into the asanas, because the asanas actually help you in your meditation posture. And so, yeah, I think that those are really amazing things, as well as Reiki. I'm a certified Reiki practitioner with the Holy Fire Reiki 3 lineage. And Reiki is just another form of life force that moves through us, just like breath. So yeah, those are probably some of my favorite things. Meditation is huge. I went to Peru a couple months ago and got my yoga teacher training, as well as my meditation teacher training certifications. And meditation is big, and I think people get really stuck on meditation. I can't meditate. People say that a lot. I don't know how to meditate. I can't meditate. Because people think that you just need to be like levitating above the ground, and you're not thinking any thoughts. It's not meditation. Meditation, you can meditate while you're cleaning, driving. Meditation is just being present and observing what's going on inside of you or around you. It's just being an observer instead of a judger, because when we observe, we're not making stories and, saying, oh, that's this and that's that. We're just observing it as being there, essentially. So meditation is huge.
Really quick, for people listening who don't know how to meditate, like, what is the best advice you give them to start, or like the best way for them to start? Is there like an app or a video or someone that you were really inspired by?
I feel like something I recommend to people is finding meditations on YouTube even can be great. We have to remember that sometimes during meditation we go into a hypnagogic state, so our minds are more imprintable. So if someone's speaking to you during meditation, remember that your subconscious mind is getting those things. So I offer this. Get in a comfortable seated position. It's preferred to be seated so that you don't fall asleep, right? Comfortable seated position. Roll your shoulders back, get nice and comfortable, straight spine. Start with 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Should we do some breath right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get grounded.
I can't close my eyes. So
That's okay.
So
we'll show this. Jenna, you can do an open eye meditation, actually. Okay. And it's finding one point and focusing on that point. And just taking 5 deep breaths in for 5 through the nose, out for 5 through the mouth. As we're doing this, we can begin to bring awareness down to our root chakra area, or the base of our spine, and imagining some energy there, whether you want to imagine a light, a flame, a tree trunk, and we can move it down through our seat, down through the earth, all the way until it meets Mother Earth. And this is a grounding technique. And it's all imaginary. You can imagine Mother Earth as a giant cookie in the middle if you wanted. And just bringing your connection there.
I like that one.
And as we're breathing, we can move into an open awareness meditation, which is just bringing observation first to our breath, our natural breath, what that's like. Maybe it's short and shallow, maybe it's long and deep, maybe it's pretty uneven. We're just observing it, we're not judging it. And with open awareness meditation, we would then move our awareness to our thoughts. We're observing them, letting a thought come in and then come out. And we would then move to bringing our awareness to any sounds happening around us. Again, just observing, not judging. And as we do this, it slows us down and brings us into the present moment, without judgment, without stories, with just presence. And at a certain point, when you're observing the sounds around you, for me, I eventually just kind of fall into a meditative state. And we can go in and out of meditative states. Maybe you're in your house and a car siren starts going off and you kind of come out of it. That's okay. We bring it back. And first you'll only meditate for maybe 5 seconds. And then 10, then 20. And then you'll eventually be meditating for, I can meditate for hours now. And just stay in that meditative state. But this is after training. You're exercising that muscle, right? You have to remind yourself constantly in the early stages of your healing work. It's a constant practice and it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy.
I tell people that too for motivation. Like it's constant.
Like
Like
it's constant
exercising,
work.
right?
It's you can't just go to the gym twice and be like, "Okay, cool." It's like you're doing this all the time, and I promise you, it's worth it. And the first chunk of it is the hardest to get through, and then it just becomes a part of your daily life, right?
Without even trying, just
That was
you
perfect.
and you guiding that, I was like fully tapped in for a second.
Amazing. I didn't want to
Yeah.
like do a full ordeal because I know we're flying it on the podcast, but essentially, you can work with that tool on your own, and I offer, you can even play meditative music in the background, but the best way to start is just guide yourself through an open awareness meditation. That way no one's talking and you're not getting any weird subliminal messages and stuff. Just observe what's happening around you with your eyes open or closed. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you're breathing, you're doing it right. That's the same thing with yoga. Just breathe and you're doing everything right. If you go take a yoga class, you could sit there in child's pose, breathing the entire time, and you did the yoga, the asana.
That was so amazing, Soph. I almost want to record a separate sound bit of you doing.
I would love to offer a meditation that you guys can include.
Yes.
I can do like a 30-minute
Like a
guided
separate
meditation.
one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
I mean, honestly, we
Okay.
have tomorrow morning too. We can go to my buddy's house and like go meditate on his pier, and then do a cold plunge, and then go
Oh
hot
yeah,
tub.
that would be fantastic.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
We'll make sure we have something special for you guys to listen to. And of
I
course, all
got
my stuff will
chills.
be linked. And I also offer private sessions for meditation coaching, yoga. It can all be done over Zoom or on the phone. I also offer distance Reiki sessions, all kinds of stuff. So
Perfect.
in
So
that
we're gonna
vein-
attach Sophie's meditation thing to this, guys.
Yeah, I think we should record a meditation,
Yeah.
and then we'll do legit breath work,
yeah,
and then do a cold plunge,
I love it.
and the hot tub's there, so we can do that.
Yeah.
And this is perfect because, do you mind? Can I ask her a question, Jen?
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's
just-
kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
What is frequency and vibrational therapy, and what are you teaching right now?
Okay, so vibrational therapies it can be, I'll just give some examples of it. It's the best way to explain it. Vibrational therapy can be, let's talk about essential oils for a minute. So vibrational therapies is using our different senses to bring healing into the body. So we can use essential oils, right? Like if I use lavender oil, that's like a very middle ground level. It's not going to wake you up and it's not going to make you super tired and grounded. It's just like right there in the middle, right? And you're just rubbing it in your hands and breathing it in, and you'll feel it in your body. Even people who aren't sensitive and are not spiritual at all feel these shifts happen in our bodies, right? Whereas if you use like wild orange, it's going to wake you up, cypress is going to ground you down. So we can use different oils and smells to raise our vibration, bring it down to grounding, or bring it up. We can use things like color therapy, right? They're actually implementing a lot of this in like hospitals, like blue light rooms and stuff like that.
Cool.
Blue light actually reduces blood pressure and whatnot. So color therapy is being used currently in Western medicine.
Wow.
And they're proving it.
Yep, exactly.
I
A
didn't
lot
know
of
that.
these things that I talk about are scientifically proven, and Western medicine is making a really beautiful shift and starting to implement these things. You know what I mean? Sound frequency, like I talked about. Crystals are a huge vibrational therapy tool. And sound, look up in your local area, sound bath, sound healing, and just go lay there and receive. And it's like the crystal singing bowls and the chimes and
So
all
magical.
these things. Yeah, and sound can actually change your whole environment. Like you can blare a sound healing frequency through the speaker in your house, and it'll clear the energy of your house. Sound is a beautiful tool to use.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit about vibrational therapies. And for me, like if you come to me for a Reiki session, you're getting like an arrangement of things. You're not just getting Reiki. Like you're gonna have crystals on you and sound, and sound is also very important in the ceremonial work that I do. We drum a lot. We use our rattles, which is snake medicine, and all kinds of stuff, because it's also a way of offering back to the spirit something beautiful, a beautiful sound, and using your voice. You can use your voice to change frequencies. There's there's like yam, ram, all these different things for each of your chakra centers.
Oh wow.
Sounds you can make, like yam is for your heart chakra. So you can do this and you'll feel it there. It's really cool. And you can just look up, chakra vibrational therapy and see what comes up. There's so much stuff online. There's books about this stuff.
Should we do one?
So using your voice, yeah, we can just do Om. So Om is the sound of the universe to me. And Om is the sound of oneness and interconnectedness. And that can change the frequency of your inner body and help you feel more connected and the environment around you. So to do Om, this is the best way when you're doing mantra work or any sort of, sound work with your vocal cords. You want to take a cleansing breath first. So we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And on our next breath in, we'll start with Om. So take a deep breath in. You can just feel it within your body, and it's cool when you get a group of people and you can do rolling ohms and everyone just is ohming on their own, and like you feel like you're on a different planet. Like it's really incredible, and I think a lot of people are afraid to use their voice. I'm currently working through the shadow of mine as fully just unlocking this and letting it out, because we can make all different sounds to just change any vibration. You can send sounds to your body. It's really, really cool. So starting working with your own voice and seeing what feels good, for me, like when I'm irritated, I'm just like,
Totally. 100%.
And you just let it out, like get it out. Feeling anger and irritation is not bad. Just you move through it. Like I said, you don't go over it or around it. You move through it, and using your voice to express is a great way to do that.
Yes.
So that's
the
a
only
little
way
bit
out
about
is
vibration.
through.
Yeah, exactly. You got to go through it and hang out with it for a minute. You don't have to just be like, I got to get rid of this right now. Just see what it wants to teach you. It's trying to tell you something. And even physical pain in our bodies, right? Like vibrational therapies. Put a crystal on your shoulder that hurts and just see what happens. It's no right or wrong. It's not going to hurt you, right?
Yeah,
so
right?
just see what happens, And some people think I'm totally nuts, and that's fine. And I'm like, come see me for a session and then see how you feel. Be open to it and start to work with these different things. Sometimes a pill is not the answer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. These things are free. You don't have to pay any money to breathe, okay?
Seriously.
So
that's the future of healing.
Exactly. It's all inside of you. You have everything you need. And knowing that helps you bring less fear into life, knowing that you have everything you need. And I can't remember the second part of your question, but that's about vibrational therapy.
It's basically,
that was so good.
one, I want to know your thoughts on Breath of Fire and letting that out, because I feel like
Breath of Fire is so good.
that like changed my life.
You know the Wim Hof method?
Well, yeah, Wim Hof is great.
Wim Hof's awesome. If you don't know who he is, look him up because
Shout out
he's great.
Wim. Let's get him on the
He's incredible. He's incredible.
That'd be so sick.
Yes, my teachers, shout out to Becca and Wolf with Ha Yoga. They taught me so much breath work when I was there. Thank you. You guys rock.
Yeah, we're going to include links to all of your...
Yeah, my teachers. Kia Levine, Wolf, and Becca, thank you.
Wait, so really quick on that thought, is there like a book or a podcast or like maybe an audiobook that someone could get that changed your life?
What changed my life, and this brings me into the Palladians, and if you don't know what the Palladians are, and this is going to sound crazy, they're light beings, and there's a book called Bringers of the Dawn, Teachings of the Palladians, and even if you don't believe in that stuff, it doesn't matter what the teachings are in this book, are amazing, and it's a simple read, and I recommend this book to anyone who's looking at discovering who they really are, and it's really simple to read, and it's great.
Cool.
And it's written by a woman who channels the Palladians, and so it's written from like their perspective essentially. And if that's a little bit too out there for you, another great book is The Four Agreements. Simple. The Four Agreements are incredible. Listen to it, read it over and over and over again until you get it. But The Four Agreements is another really, really good one. And for all the women out there, Women Who Run with Wolves, please read that book. It's long and thick, but it's incredible. Please read that book, ladies. Please.
That's hilarious. I literally just finished listening to The Four Agreements.
Listen to that over and over again. It's incredible. Another good one is
it's
the
so
Gene
simple
Keys.
too.
Yeah, I have so many good ones. I mean, the Sophia Dragon Codes. Like, I can go really spiritual with it, or just like Four Agreements life stuff.
We'll include all those links.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is another really good one.
That's so
that
good.
one's really great.
You're a badass.
Yeah.
The Power of Now.
The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, I just started
A
that.
New Earth. He's great.
It's so magical.
Yeah, right now I'm reading. I can't remember the exact name, but it's
sorry, I'm making
it's about
sure
sacred femininity.
Every time I look out, I'm looking for traffic and airspace.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out.
Okay,
too.
just so
Same.
you guys know, I'm not like unfocused. I'm just.
That was such a good question,
Safety
Jen.
is my number one.
Yeah,
That's a good one, right? Because it
podcasts-
can help continue. I want people to. Sometimes inspiring videos are so wonderful, but I feel like they only leave you inspired for a second. I want to give people like fruit and knowledge that they can carry on like through their work week, for their life. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you're giving
wanna,
good stuff.
Something I want to mention too is that we are about to launch with Wild Moon, the company that I work for, me and my teacher. We're about to launch an online school.
Oh, cool.
And this school is going to include all different types of courses. We're going to have yoga teacher training on there, Reiki training,
Sick.
something called 7 Moons, which I'm in right now, and even simple things like moon medicine. And we're going to have all different types of courses on there. So if you're looking to go a little
Cool.
bit deeper,
That's awesome.
here really soon we're going to have so much to offer. So just remember, these things are accessible. You don't have to pay tons of money and go find some spiritual guru healer to heal you. You know, you can do these things from home on your own time whenever
Yeah.
you want.
And that's a huge
Yeah.
one too, is I think you could tell people, and I know you feel the same way, it's like always learn something new, like continue to push your education. I bet so
Yeah.
many people are
I
like,
read the same book
I
7
already
times
know.
because it's different at each point in my life. I've read the 4 Agreements probably a good 7 times because it's different and I absorb different information each time I read it. So, and also like reading books and meditating doesn't make you spiritual. Like the most spiritual guy could be a landscaper. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So remembering that
Facts.
doing these things, wearing crystal jewelry and being like, oh yeah, I'm a yoga teacher, like that doesn't make you spiritual. You know, what makes you spiritual is your connection to yourself. That's what makes you spiritual. Where do you come from? Who are you? Why are you here? Find out your answer to those questions and you're living a spiritual life.
And so how important is God, Jesus, Buddha, Mother Earth, like how important is that in life? Like we were talking earlier, we're like, dude, that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
you could incorporate in anything. I mean, just like shed some light on it.
If you're looking,
Mike is 6 to the
this
east,
guy.
inbound.
Yo, dude, stop smoking so many cigarettes.
Jerry, get off the radio.
So, yeah, like people who are okay. Hear me out. If you don't believe in anything and you think when we die we just go into a black hole and that's it, that's where your fear of death comes in, right? If we want to eliminate fear
Yeah.
and hand over our responsibility, we have free will, right? But hand over our control over everything, and we want to just, you know, people say give it to God. That's where that comes in. If you want to eliminate fear from your life, figure out what it is that you believe in, and that's where you start with you. Where did I come from? Who am I? And it's important because we have to know that it's not all up to us to figure everything out and to understand everything and to control everything and to live this certain life, right? Knowing that there is an element that we're not really in control of. And whether you believe that or not, you know, it's important to find what your connection is to your self as a being, right? Like whatever that is. You could believe in, for a while there when I was in high school, I only knew that I believed in karma. What goes around comes around. What you give out is what you're going to get back. And that was all I believed in for a while because I wasn't sure. It's okay to not know too. I ask you and I offer for you to not shut anything down and not say, no, that's not real. No, that's not real. This is the problem I have with religion.
Yeah.
Is no, this is right and that's wrong. I
Be open
offer
to
for
all
you
of it.
to bring bring curiosity to everything. That's another one. If you're curious, then you're not in fear and you're not making judgments. You're just curious. That's interesting, you know? And if you don't want to believe in anything and say this is true and that's not true, you know, just be curious. This and that are both true. You know, Jenna and I have very similar beliefs, but also different. And both are true. Your truth is different from my truth, is different from her truth, is different from his. So find what you connect to. Maybe you just connect to the stars or the sun or Mother Earth, and that's okay too. Just find what you connect to, and first we do that by finding what is inside of us and who we are. Because I promise you, it's not just Jenna and Sophie and Ben. It's an entire universe happening inside of us that we get to explore. It's so cool. We get to explore that. So yeah.
I've
So
been
cool.
in the mornings. I've been focusing on like I've called it DNA destiny, like my whole life, because I have a bunch of different friends, different religions, different backgrounds, and I just feel like if each person is given the opportunity to like ask themselves the big question, like that is what we're missing. And like, people call it self-awareness or whatever it is. But I've been trying to focus on that in the morning when I do like my breath work and stuff, so it like aligns me with what's like, because your DNA is moving 69 miles an hour, replicating itself, telling the biology in your body what to, how to recreate itself.
Exactly.
So you're recreating yourself at 69 miles an hour every second.
And we get to do that, and how cool is that? And you should read the Gene Key. We carry things in our DNA and from our ancestral line. So remembering too that certain things you could go back 5 grandmas ago and be like, oh, she suffered from anxiety, or she was in domestic abusive relationships, and start again bringing curiosity. Where how much do we carry, right? They have science studies on these.
That's
where
so interesting.
like look up the mouse study with the cherry blossoms.
Mouse?
Like they had these mice smell cherry blossoms, and they shocked them and created a trauma response to the smell of cherry blossoms. And then generations of mice later, the mice had a stress response to smelling cherry blossoms.
Wow.
I think it's like
this is
3.
proven.
Is it 3 generations of mice get it?
And it'll skip generations. There was a part of that study where it skipped a generation, and then like the great grand mice were not feeling it, but then their babies were remembering it. So
like,
again,
what other proof do you need? Like
be
ancestral,
curious.
Like,
Whoa. So Pete just said that. So that means it's getting windy at the drop zone. So that means that we may or may not be able to skydive.
Okay, well, let's start heading back towards there. I want to ask you.
Everybody's doing great.
I know you've had. You guys are all doing great.
Everybody's doing
awesome.
great.
A couple things. I want to ask you. I want like a 2-minute speech of you. That's just like giving all your epicness and awesomeness that we could put to a video that'll pump someone up. So whenever you're ready, we can do that, or we can do it on the way back.
Okay, like
I just want you to pretend like you got a stage and you could talk to the whole entire world for 2 minutes.
I mean, I feel like I just did that. I'm like, I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention.
That's such a good question, though. That's like...
so good, but it's just like your elevator pitch for having a good life, and I know it's a lot. You can think
happy,
about
strong,
it.
healthy.
Yeah. Like, mine would be like, just fucking get out there and send it.
Yeah.
Let me answer the happy, strong, and healthy question first, and then I'll move into that.
Perfect. And then I think...
Are we descending towards the airport?
Yeah, I think that's it.
We can do more on the way back, too. We got time.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. Okay, so answer
and remember,
happy,
time's not
healthy.
real anyway, so if you're stressing out about time, it's not real.
Oh, I'm not stressing out at all. But I
not
am...
you. I'm telling them.
Oh, I was like, but I am, like, actively dodging, like, airspaces and, like, planes.
Yeah, it's time to go. It's time to ground.
have to pee. I forgot about it from our meditation, but...
It's fun to go way up into the stars and connect in this way, but you still need to ground.
Yes,
Still
exactly.
gotta pee.
Okay, so answer that question. Also, I love that all this shit's in here because I don't want it to be perfect. Life isn't perfect. We're also a shit show, and I think we need to emphasize that because it's so funny.
If you are somebody who struggles with perfectionism, ask yourself what perfect even is. This was me a year ago, and now I'm like, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Even the shit shows where there's friggin', snowstorms and car accidents and all the crazy things, it's all perfect.
Yes,
Nature is perfect, right? It's perfect. So if you're struggling with perfectionism, ask yourself what perfect is, and then invite yourself to look at that more, because there's no such thing.
Damn. Good answer.
Mic drop, plane drop. We'll do plane drops instead of mic drops.
Mic drop,
plane drop.
Woo! Yeah, every time something
Smoking and cooking, no hot box.
That's amazing.
I
Okay.
was just thinking that in my head as you sang it, Jen.
Jumping on your bed sheet. Okay, go ahead, Soph. Tell us about what you do to instill a happy, healthy, fucking positively full send stoked life. Bam.
Okay, cool.
Holy shit, the winds are gusting 23 knots.
Oh yeah, we're not skydiving. Not right now anyways. We might be
bitch.
able to. The wind's picking up now because it's getting hot.
It might cool down later.
After about 3, 4, once the sun starts getting lower, we might want to stay for a nice sunset look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll just hang out. And we'll get a bunch of cool B-roll photos.
Guys, even if we
Shut
just
up,
did
Bob.
this, you know how special it is that
yeah.
humans are starting to gather and talk about these things. And this is how we plant seeds in each other. Like, I call myself a seed planter, so I'll go around and just say little things like, hey, remember to breathe, and I just planted a seed, you know? And it's up to that person to grow. Some people don't even have fertile soil, so get your soil fertile first, which is serious.
That's
You're
so
the
true.
You're the seed seeder.
The seed seeder.
But that's a good thing too, because I think everyone our age is like, holy shit, I want to cure hunger. I want to fix the world.
Yeah, we
I
have
want
this God complex
do
where
this.
it's the root wound of that is the need to be needed. We have this God complex where we can save everything and everyone and everything needs to be just and right. What is just and right? Because remember, your truth is different from Joe's truth across the street. So stop forcing your truth on people. Stop doing that.
But you should also instill, like you were saying, every little bit of happiness and light and love to every person you meet, because I think that's what actually changes the world.
Yeah, and
I mean, we
knowing
should
your
still
truth,
solve
know
hunger
your
and
truth
stuff,
and
but
where you stand.
yeah.
Speak your truth authentically and kindly. You know, in yoga, we have the yamas and niyamas, and it's do no harm and truthfulness, or like the two huge ones. Do no harm and truthfulness. And some people, it looks different for everybody what that means. So just knowing where you stand, being in your truth, but respecting that you don't really know anything and that everybody has their truths. That's where we always come back to is, I know that there's aliens and Pleiadians and this and that and chemtrails and all the crazy stuff, right? Like, people know everything, right?
Chemtrails.
But then I go, wait, I really don't know anything. You know? Yeah, bringing yourself back to that. But yeah, happiness, strength, and peace. What was it?
GoPro.
GoPro down.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. That was right before I answered that question.
Now you have time to think about it.
Yeah.
What is it? Happiness?
Happy, strong, and healthy is Wim's. That's
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Wim Hof tells
Yeah.
people is like the key to.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Zulu. Wind 340 at 12 knots. Peak gusts 21 knots.
Yolo County Centurion 761 Sierra Hotel, 22 miles to the north, descending out of 5,000, inbound for landing, YOLO. 761 Sierra Hotel, final runway 34, full stop, YOLO. Alright, we got center line obtained.
Jenna, you gonna grease it?
Slope. If I say I'm gonna grease it, I won't, so no, I'm not gonna grease it. It's Murphy's Law, Soph.
Wheelie.
Look how beautiful green it is right now. Usually it's so dead out here.
I know, it's
It's
beautiful.
the greenest I've ever seen Davis.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You want her on the 1,000-footer, Soph, or do you want her?
Yeah. Right on the 1,000-footers.
Oh, I'm coming in a little low. Oh, there's a gust of wind. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Ooh.
Got it.
Heyo,
That was
nailed it.
awesome.
Did you feel that fucking gust at
That was
the
a
Yeah,
end?
big
it was
ol'
a
gust.
major gust. You nailed that, Jen.
Nice, Jen. Good work.
I would have bounced at least 3 times.
Thanks, guys, for your positive. Oh, look, there's a skydiver, Soph. Or is there just a parachute?
Where?
Right straight ahead.
Oh, yeah, they're kiting.
Oh.
They're just
they're
practicing.
just flying the wing, yeah.
Yeah, they're just kiting. There's also a gun
Wait, do
range
you
at this
hear
drop
a
zone.
really low voice?
I
What?
thought I heard something too. Is Marco Polo live? How's that work?
He can watch it live. Like, if he came on while I was doing this, he could watch it live.
Oh, cool.
But, like, you just video people back and forth.
Do you hear that, Ben?
I do hear
Yeah, I hear it too.
Wait, one sec.
it. Do we need to turn something up?
It's Jesus.
Is it your video that
She-
went